Well, good morning, private practice success community. We are live, and this is Gerda, of course, clinical psychologist and private practice success business coach and mentor. And I'm coming to you from my bedroom of all places, but you only get to see this section of the bedroom. So before I get really stuck into this, let me just take a couple of seconds and share this live stream into my Facebook group, because I do love it when as many as possible of you can actually join me live and we can have a bit of conversation rather than me talking to you with one-sided convo. All right, let's do this. I'm not sure if you guys have noticed, but today the internet seems slow here where I'm at. Don't know why, it's pretty annoying. But I'm just telling myself maybe Australia is being very productive on this Tuesday morning. It's like going round and round in circles. Hey, I see we've got two people here with us. Please say hi and hello. Hey Sharon, how's things out in Sydney? Hope you are doing well. There we go. It is allowing me to share in my group. Say hi and hello as you hop on, then I know that you are here. Okay, the group name is Private Practice Success for Allied Health Professionals. Alrighty, post. Okay, I'm going to put my laptop down, get distracted by it, and we can get started. So I wanted to talk about a very interesting topic, but before we do, for a few more of you to hop on. I shared this in the Facebook group. Whilst we wait, I wanted to quickly just let you know that you still have until Sunday, that is this Sunday, the 17th of May 2020, to register for the virtual Private Practice Success Masterclass. Yes, the masterclass is going virtual thanks to COVID. Of course, it's going to be the same amazing goodness. I mean, the amount of intellectual property you get in there will probably keep your practice going for the next 2 to 3 years. And what I mean with that is, in terms of giving you content, giving you actionable strategies to implement and take action on in your practice in order to catapult into that next stage. I believe that each and every practice needs to go through the masterclass at least once, and it is also my personal opinion that there is no better time than the present to ensure that you do what needs to be done to take your practice not only through the times we are currently living in, but beyond. And of course, for the first time ever, I'm recording the masterclass, which does mean it is going to be a gift that keeps on giving. It means that you will be able to use sections. Let's say if we're talking customer service, wow factor, dynamic diary management, you can take those sections out of the masterclass and you can use it to train your front desk team, to train your practice manager, etc., etc. You can use that as part of ongoing training with your team or as part of orientation and induction, right? So I do give you the right to use the content and of course now also the recording within your own private practice. So it's an amazing opportunity, and if you do enroll before Sunday, you will get to enroll at the 2019 rate. Now, how awesome is that? Also, if you are a masterclass alumni, very special offer for you, so do check out your inbox as well as the post in the masterclass graduate Facebook group, alumni Facebook group. It's just a really, really amazing opportunity, so be sure to check that out. And what I might do when I hop off here is put the link to the masterclass details in the comments for those that are interested in doing the masterclass. But you literally have until the 17th, that is this Sunday, to enroll. After that, doors will be closing. Okay, so let's talk about our topic of Sharon says doing great, thanks, but it's been a bit chilly down here. Yes, I must say here in the mornings it's a bit chilly as well. As you can see, I'm still wearing short sleeves. It's nice and sunny here in my bedroom, which I love. I've got the the door open. So it's just the most beautiful season that we're in up here. Okay, so our topic, of course, is when clinicians break their contracts. Now, hands up here if you've been in a situation where you've had a clinician renege on their contract. And this topic actually came up on Saturday. So Saturday was the first week of my hot seat sessions. I've got like 10 practice owners in there, and it's like a mini mastermind, right? And of the 10 people in there, 3 people report as their issues with team. And the issues with team, particularly contractors, right, is what happens during the conclusion process, like contractors starting to avoid meetings that they need to have with the practice owner, not doing a proper handover of clients, actually soliciting clients away from the practice when that is in contravention of the actual contract that they have signed, right? Various different things. And since Saturday, it's been sitting with me, and I just thought I've probably live streamed about this before, but I feel I need to do it again because it's actually a very common thing that's happening, right? As you can see from our little sample size, the practice owners in the hot seat sessions, 3 out of 10 people. And I think it would be almost safe to draw a conclusion that if I look at my own practice experience, and I have a lot of very open, honest, vulnerable conversations with practice owners from around Australia, most people have experienced this at least once, right? Well, the ones that speak to me about it, and I would say probably 3 out of every 10 to 12 to 15, if you're lucky, clinicians that's going to come through your practice doors, particularly as contractors, are going to be challenging in this regard. Okay. And the comment I made to my hot seat clients on Saturday was, and I said, there's this interesting phenomenon that happens amongst clinicians, and I particularly are referring to psychologists here, right? I have had at my practice speech pathologists, dietitians, clinical hypnotherapists, and occupational therapists. I've not had this issue with any other discipline within my own practice other than fellow psychologists. Okay, fellow psychologists, which is like, oh, you're giving our discipline a bad name. But anyway, all right, psychologists, what happens is their contract, then, they sign their contract when they spend some time with you. Oh, what I was saying is my comment to the hot seat sessions. I lost my train of thought there. I said that it is this funny thing that happens that, they work with you, they sign the contract, and then when it's time for them to move on, when they've decided that they've learned everything they can learn from you and they're ready to start their own private practice, and let's just be clear here, I'm all for that, right? I have a course, a program. I help people start their own private practices, right? It's a big part of what they do. So I'm all for that. But it's when they get to decide that they're ready to move on, they've learned everything that they needed to learn from you, and their main goal now is own private practice in as fast and as easy a way as possible. And then they look at this contract, and then they just decide, because it no longer suits them, that certain clauses in this contract no longer applies. And my comment was, that sounds like a bit of magical thinking to me, that all of a sudden, because it doesn't suit me, now I have the legal right to decide those clauses don't apply. But they're very sneaky. What they do is they throw the ethics card, right? The ethics card. And what they will do, and because they have decided that this is an unethical clause now, a clause within a contract that I was very happy to sign when I started, I've now decided it's unethical and therefore it's null and void. Jeez, we are so powerful, right? We can just make these decisions willy-nilly, and now it's changed. But then what they do is they call up the Australian Psychological Society, right? The APS. and they speak to somebody sitting in an office somewhere in Melbourne, probably now working from home currently, and they speak to this person that has got no idea what's in the contract. They've never seen the contract. And a contract's not only one clause. A contract is a complete document, right? And there's certain clauses that load into other clauses and that impacts other clauses, right? This person's never seen the contract. This person's got no idea as to the business model of the specific practice, right? The contractor, the clinician, only tells this person advising them the information that they want to tell, their side of the story. This person does not get to speak to the practice owner. They, consciously or unconsciously omit certain information. They consciously or unconsciously highlight information that suits them, right? Exactly, Sharon, it's unethical. You shouldn't sign something that you believe is unethical. But, when they speak to the APS, it's a one-sided submission during this conversation. And then the APS goes, oh no, your practice owner is doing the wrong thing. And then the clinician goes back to the practice owner and says, well, I called the APS and the APS says blah, 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 blah. And then the poor practice owner goes, oh my God, I am a bad person. I'm doing the wrong thing. Everybody's going to think I'm unethical, and they take it so darn personally, right? And I'm saying that with all much love, because I have been there. I have been there. And my comment to you this morning is the APS is a membership body, and we have had this conversation before, right? I am a member of the APS. I have been a member of the APS since 2004 when I arrived in Australia. I've got my 10-year membership certificate somewhere packed away in a box, right? And I'm still a member. I've been a member every year, like a consistent member. I had to join them in 2004 because at that time they were the body that had to assess all my overseas qualifications. They charged me $600. I'm still traumatized because it was in 2004 just to have my qualifications assessed and all of that type of stuff, right? They serve an important purpose within our industry and for our profession, right? However, they do not get to tell you how to run your business, okay? And for some reason, it's almost like new grads that, new grads, those first 6 months after university, it's like everything the lecturer told them is like gospel. It's gospel. You cannot tell them anything that is just slightly off what the lecturers told them, okay? And you really need to work hard as a practice owner to get that bullshit out of them. For them to go, okay, let's get off our high horse of academia. Let's get down into the trenches. This is how it actually works if you want to help people, right? And it's the same here. You need to remember when somebody calls the APS to check whether you are doing the right thing, I go check, right? I'm happy for you to check. However, I know that I stand in my belief that I will not give you a contract to sign. That's unethical, right? And if you want to tell me it's unethical, I actually feel pretty offended, right? If you want to tell me I'm doing something unethical. And especially if you've been working with me for 2 to 3 years on a day-to-day basis in private practice, and then you turn around and tell me something is unethical, that's really hurtful and that's really offensive, and it feels like a betrayal. And that, because of those emotions, is why practice owners then just go, oh my goodness, it must be me, I'm doing the wrong thing, and we let our ego and our emotions get in the way. We don't take action because our ego tells us, oh my God, if you actually send this person a cease and desist letter or a legal letter to tell them they're in breach, you're gonna look like the arsehole, you're gonna look like the bitch, you're gonna look like you're greedy, you're gonna look like you're unethical. So our ego gets in the way there, right? And we need to stop doing this. We need to take action. So really, my message to you is, I'm just watching the time because I need to do another training at 11:30. My message to you is, whenever somebody tells you that they have signed something with the spoken to the APS, and the APS says A, B, and C, take it with a grain of salt. I will go, thank you so much for that information. However, I've been in this private practice for X amount of years. For me, it's more than 10. I've done all the research, right? I know all the legislation. I know the code of ethics like the freaking back of my hand, okay? And this is not unethical. You signed a legal document. Just because you now choose and you have decided it serves you does not mean that it is no longer binding, okay? And I would recommend that you send them a cease and desist letter from a lawyer. It is really important for you to set the example for your other team members to see that you won't take this bullshit, right? We need to stop taking this bullshit. We need to stop being so scared of looking like the bad guy, right? And also, I will acknowledge that there are probably people out there with dodgy contracts, but that is on you. That is on you. Just like it is on me if I sign any other contract, whether it's with my local gym, whether it is to buy a car, whether it is to buy a house. I just last week, or was it the week before, I can't remember, signed a contract to build a house. If I sign a contract, it's on me that I have agreed to those things. It's not on the other people. They've given that contract to me. I can have 10 lawyers check it, okay? Or I can just sign it, or I can have one lawyer check it. But if I make that decision to sign it, I need to take ownership for it. Okay, I need to take ownership for it. Now, I'm all for you starting your own private practice if you're a clinician, but what I'm for is doing it with your dignity, your integrity, and your reputation intact. And that is going to require of you to stick to whatever contract you signed. Not say, oh, I didn't realize. Well, the contract's there for a reason, right? You need to go and freaking read it. The contract sets out our relationship. Yes, we get to know one another, we build personal relationships, but when you are a contractor, it is a business-to-business relationship. Very, very important. So you, as a business owner, when you are a contractor, has an obligation to know what the contract means before you sign it. You have to sign on contract, okay? And do the right thing, because don't you want to sleep at night? I think estimate how small this industry is, right? Your freaking reputation will follow you around like a bad bloody stink, okay? You might not want to hear that, but it's the truth. It is the freaking truth. And I'm building a community of group private practice owners, and your reputation will, okay, it will become known. So I really want to encourage you to think about, are you acting from a place of integrity, from a place of dignity, okay? The one lesson my mother taught me that I will never forget is that you do not burn your bridges. Do not burn your bridges when you leave a place of employment or when you leave a place of contracting. Now, of course, if you have been bullied or something like that, that's a completely different kettle of fish. That's not what I'm talking about here. I'm talking about when people are signing legal binding contracts, and then just because it no longer suits them, because they want now an easy start to building their business, and they want to do it off the back of the hard work of another practice owner. Geez, how freaking lazy is that? I think that lazy, and it tells me so much about your freaking work ethic if you're doing this, right? That's not right. I don't stand for that. And karma is a bitch, and karma will find you. She always finds you. So I'm going to get off my high horse now because I need to start preparing for module 5 of my online group programs training that I'm doing at 11:30. But it was just, I'm so freaking sick of this. And I'm so ashamed. I'm so ashamed of these psychologists that this keeps on happening. We are meant to be, such ethical humans. Doesn't mean you let other people take advantage of you, but that's why you check the contract before you freaking sign it. But your word is your bond, right? A commitment is such an important value for me. Maybe that's why it annoys me so much. Maybe that's why it rubs me the wrong way. I just feel it is so, so bad and so, so rude to break your word, because that's a trust thing. And trust is such an important principle of what we do. Professionals, right? There needs to be trust. And how hypocritical is it to try and be this amazing psychologist with your clients, but to be like a bitch to your practice owners, or an arsehole or a dick or whatever it is, what word you want to use, that is so incongruent. And it really, I feel ashamed knowing that those things are still happening. There it is, my thoughts, unfiltered, in typical Gerda Muller way. So I'm going to leave you just like hanging on the edge with that. Have a think, have a reflect. As always, feel free to comment in the comments. Feel free to email me directly at gerda@private-practice-success.com if you want to share some more private thoughts and reflections on this. I always read my email. It takes a couple of days to get to it, but I do read them. I'm going to love and leave you. Have an amazing day. And remember, as always, all you need to do is say yes to your very own ultimate level 5 private practice. Bye for now.